Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we unpack the details from our sources to bring you something, well, hopefully fascinating. Speaking of unpacking, ever try to explain camouflage to a parrot? Doesn't quite work. I'm Hori.
And I'm Kimi. Hello, everyone. Yes, today we're looking at a bird that certainly doesn't rely on camouflage, but has plenty of other interesting facets.
That's right, we're diving into the world of the red-capped parrot of southwestern Australia. It looks striking, sure, but its scientific name, Purpureicephalus spurius, kind of hints there's more to the story.
It really does. We're pulling from scientific classifications, historical accounts, observations of its life in the wild. The mission is to get past the bright feathers and find the surprising bits.
Okay, so visually it's quite something. You've got that bright crimson crown.
Right, and contrasting green-yellow cheeks, that very distinctive long bill.
Yeah.
Then the darker green wings, back and tail.
And underneath that sort of purple-blue color, the sources say it's not easily confused with anything else in its area.
No, it's pretty unique looking. But that name, Purpureicephalus spurius, let's break that down.
Purpureicephalus seems straightforward enough, right? Greek and Latin for purple head, referring to the crown, even though it's red. Close enough, I guess.
Exactly. But spurious, that's Latin for illegitimate.
Illegitimate? Why on earth would they call it that?
Well, it comes down to the juveniles. They look drastically different. Mostly green, really quite plain compared to the adults.
Ah, so early observers might have thought the young birds were a totally separate, unrelated species, making the adult form seem sort of illegitimate by comparison, or maybe the young illegitimate offspring.
Precisely. It caused some taxonomic confusion. It was first named Psittacus spurius back in 1820, went through a few other names like Platycercus paleatus, before they landed on the current name. And interestingly, early colonists just called it the blue parrot.
Huh. And the local Nyungar people had names too, didn't they? Different ones across the region.
Yes. Names like Jar Railburtong near Perth and Juluup down near King George Sound shows that deep, long-standing local knowledge.
Okay, so taxonomically, where does it fit? It's a broad-tailed parrot in the Platycercini tribe.
Correct. And for a long time, that unique long beak meant it sat in its very own genus, Purpureicephalus.
Made sense based on just looking at it, I suppose, but genetics changed that view.
Yeah, around 2011, genetic studies showed it actually fits within the Cephatellus group. Its closest living relative, surprisingly, is the mulga parrot.
The mulga parrot. Wow, they don't look that similar. That connection must go way back.
It seems to. The divergence is thought to date back to the Miocene epoch, millions of years ago.
So a deep evolutionary split. And despite its range, no subspecies are recognized.
Not formally. There was an observation about birds near Esperance having slightly smaller bills and legs, but not enough data to be sure.
Right. Now let's picture it in the wild. What's its habitat like?
It likes woodland and open savanna, and it's strongly linked with marri trees, Corymbia calophylla.
Marri trees. Are they important for food?
Absolutely vital. And here's a curious thing. European settlement, which often fragments habitats, actually led to an increase in marri in some areas, which might have perhaps unintentionally helped the parrot population.
That's unexpected. What else does it eat besides marri?
It's mainly herbivorous seeds, flowers, berries, especially eucalypt seeds. That long bill is specifically adapted to get those seeds out of the capsules.
Different from how other birds tackle marri nuts, you said.
Yes, it's quite specialized. Though they aren't strictly vegetarian, they do eat some insects occasionally.
And they feed on the ground, too.
They do, and they're quite clever with their food, using a foot, usually the left one apparently, and their beak to manipulate things. A bit like the long-billed black cockatoo. They even leave telltale marks on the nuts they've opened.
Left-footed parrots, who knew? Socially, are they solitary?
Usually seen in pairs or small family groups. Sometimes you see larger flocks, especially of younger birds. They're generally quite shy, though, tending to retreat up high in the canopy if disturbed. And they're monogamous, forming strong pair bonds.
Okay, what about nesting? Where do they raise their young?
They need tree hollows, typically in older, large trees, often quite high up. They defend their nest territory, and you can often see chew marks around the hollow entrance.
And the clutch. How many eggs?
Usually around 5 creamy white eggs. Incubation details are a bit sparse, but estimated around 20 to 24 days, mostly by the female.
And the chicks.
They hatch covered in down. The female does most of the early care, then both parents feed them. They fledge, meaning leave the nest, after about 30 to 37 days, but the parents keep feeding them for a couple more weeks after that.
So considering its history being seen as an orchard pest sometimes, land clearing. How's it doing now?
It's currently listed as least concern, which is good news. And actually, its population seems to be growing, possibly linked back to those changes with the marri trees favoring them.
Still, it gets some protection, right?
Yes, it's on CITES Appendix 2, regulating trade. Interestingly, in captivity, it has a reputation for being anxious and difficult to breed.
Any idea why?
It might be a legacy from when many birds in aviculture were wild-caught. The first successful captive breeding was recorded way back in 1909 in England.
One last area of the less visible stuff, like parasites.
Yeah, research has identified a specific protozoan parasite, Purpureicephalus, found in this parrot. Plus, records of bird lice and even beak and feather disease virus just reminds you of the whole ecosystem they're part of.
So wrapping up, that story behind the name Spurious, because the babies look so different, and then the genetic twist linking it to the mulga parrot, it really shows how much hidden history even a well-known, vibrant bird can have.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic example of layers of discovery. The initial naming, the ecological ties, the deeper evolutionary links revealed by genetics.
It really makes you think about the intricate connections all around us in nature, doesn't it? Something to ponder. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been fascinating, as always.
Until next time, from both of us, a warm farewell.